everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to do the gel dip method with dip powders, and we're going to be doing on these two fingers. I'm going to be using Revel's Betty and Revel's Polar Plunge. For my gel liquids, I'm going to be using the Triple D gel liquids, the base and the top coat. And then I'm going to be using this lamp right here, which is located in my Amazon storefront below. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Betty, which is like an off-white color. And I wanted to let you guys know that I do have peel base on my two fingers already ready to go. My method of application is basically the same way how I would use my dip liquids. I am going to take a little bit on my brush, just enough so I can use it for 3/4 of the way up my nail, and then follow it down to my free edge. Now I have been doing it a little bit closer to my cuticle rather than 3/4, so I would say a little bit past that 3/4 area. And you want to make sure that it's nicely covered and smooth. You don't want no air bubbles, because again we are using gel. And then I'm going to do the pour over method, and I like to do the pour over method also with my gel, because if you end up putting it in your finger into the powder, it tends to move the gel a little bit, just because it's not the dip liquid, so it is going to move. It's not cured yet. After I clean my cuticle area with my cuticle tool, I'm then going to go ahead and cure for a full 60 seconds. And the reason we do that is because we're going to be dusting off the excess powder. So when you do the gel method, you want to do the gel, the powder, cure, and then dust off. So right here, I'm actually going to do a full layer of the gel base. And it's really important for you guys to remember to wipe your brushes before you return it back to the bottle, because you don't want to contaminate your gel at all. So make sure, this is really important, to again wipe your brush before you return it back to your bottle. So again, we're doing a full coat of the gel base, and again we want to make sure that there's no air bubbles or anything like that, and everything is nice and smooth. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and pour over the dip powder. Once you tap off the excess, you're then going to clean up around your cuticle area. And again, you're going to cure first, and then you're going to go ahead and dust off. So right here, we're going in with our final layer of our gel base, because I am doing it, like I said, the same way I do with my dip liquids. I'm doing 3 layers worth of dip. So this is our third and final layer for the solid color. On my Instagram, I had a girl actually ask me about how you would go about doing a fill. So what I would say is basically file down as low as possible, as much you can on the layers, depending of course on how much your nail has grown out. And then you would just follow the process of doing full coats to fill in that gap. So basically just go ahead and do thin layers of your gel base, and then do the pour over method, clean the cuticle area, cure, and dust off. So honestly, the method is technically the same. You want your layers to be as thin as possible. So when you're applying your gel base, you want to make sure that the layers are thin as possible, but still having that full coverage. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our glitter. So I'm only going to pour just enough to cover my nail, which is probably like a tablespoon or so. I'm going to go ahead and sift the glitters up just to make sure I get the chunkier glitters to the top. I'm going to only do 2 layers of the glitter, so I'm going to go ahead and start past that 3/4 of the way up the nail. And then I'm going to gently lay my finger down into the cupcake liner, making sure that the gel doesn't move too much or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and tap off the excess, clean around the cuticles or the sidewalls. We're going to cure, and then we're going to go ahead and dust off the excess powder again. So honestly, the gel dip method is best for people who are allergic to either dip liquids or who get the dip flu. because you have a lot of time to work with also, so you can technically do all of your fingers at one time and then cure them. So right here we're doing a full coat. Now I am putting a little bit more on my brush of that gel base just to get the nooks and crannies of the glitter, because we are working with glitter, so it does have more pockets to fill with that gel base. So I am putting a little bit more than I would with my solid color, but we're still not putting in enough to flood the cuticle area. Even though you're working with gels, you still don't want to flood that cuticle area. So again, it is important for you to clean that brush before returning it to the bottle. So don't forget that. We're going to go ahead and lay our finger down into the cupcake liner once again. And we're going to do this gently because you don't want to move the glitters too much or move the gel too much. We're going to clean around a cuticle area and the side wall. And then I'm going to also tap my glitters flat down just to make sure that they're flat and flushed, because you don't want anything to cure sticking up, which is what I'm doing right here. And I'm doing this very with a soft hand and very gently. And then I'm going to go ahead and cure and dust off as I did before. Since we're working with the glitter, you always want to clear cap the glitter. And this one is from Double Dip, and I do have a discount code below if you guys want to check them out. We're going to do a full layer of the gel base, and then we're going to do a pour over method again with the clear and just clean up the cuticle area and cure once again. So again, you could do your nails more than one nail at a time when you're using the gel dip method, because of you having to cure in between. I'm just doing 2 nails for today just to show you the method, but you can do more than 2 nails at one time. Alright, after we dust, you can tell right here that the nails are pretty hard and they're actually ready to be filed. I do not buff, but this is the file that I'm using today. It's from Triple D. It's a 100/180 grit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my side walls. This is how I do all my hand filing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys just a little bit of how I do it. So I'm going to do my side walls. I'm going to put my finger flat so I can go ahead and get the edge, and then what I'm going to do to get around my cuticle area is I'm going to go from the sides of the nails and go towards the middle, and then when I get to the free edge, I'm actually going to file downwards, and this is also going to help build a little apex as well. So like I said, I'm not going to buff. Right here, I'm just actually doing my middle finger, but I sped it up for you guys. I'm not going to buff because the gel that we're using needs something to adhere to the actual nail. So what we're gonna do after you're done filing, we're gonna go ahead and do gel base and then gel top coat. We're doing a very thin layer of gel base once again, because the gels actually stick better when you use a base and then a top coat. So we're gonna do a thin layer of gel base. You do want to cap the free edge. I don't cap my free edges because I keep my manis for like barely like 2 days, but I do suggest that you do cap your free edge. We're going to only cure for 30 seconds because you don't need to cure that long, because again, we're going back in with our gel top coat. Once you get your thin layer of top coat on and everything is smooth, you got no bubbles, you cap that free edge, you're then going to do a full cure for 60 seconds. So this is how they look like directly out of the lamp. We're going to go ahead and add some cuticle oil to them. Today I'm using scales of A Mermaid cuticle oil. So right here I wanted to show you guys the small apex that the nails still have, even with gel. So you can achieve the same look, I guess, with gel liquids instead of like dip liquids. And like I said, this is the best alternative for people who have the dip flu or allergic to dip liquids. So I really hope you guys like this, and I hope I explained it the best that I could. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later, and don't forget to comment and subscribe, guys. Bye.